All right, good afternoon to most people as lunchtime is now hit here in the Carolinas. This is First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich. I want to give you an update on the severe weather potential, which is actually increasing quite a bit here across the Carolinas. The current situation over the Charlotte area and most of the Piedmont is this band of light to occasionally moderate rain. This is non-severe weather right now and really is just the first batch. This is wave number one, which is going to be moving out of here. You can see temperatures in the 60s. The concern is this thing going on down in Alabama. This is an area of vorticity or spin in the atmosphere that's moving towards us pretty much right up I-85 from Birmingham to Alabama. Right now there are numerous tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings along this line, and you see this big red area. This is the area where the highest tornado risk is currently across Alabama into Georgia. This is a tornado watch which is in effect till 6 o'clock this evening. So if the storms get to the edge of the box around 6 o'clock, that means they'll start entering the Carolinas between 6 and 7 p.m. The concerns I have is I'll turn off the surface temperatures briefly here, and we'll throw up what we call CAPE. This is basically the potential energy in the atmosphere for thunderstorms to feed off. And you notice how it's really building here across southern Alabama, southern Georgia, and even parts of the Carolinas. That's also coincides with an area where the clouds have been thinning and we're actually getting breaks of sunshine. This is just enough heating to amp up the atmosphere, really prime it for severe thunderstorms this afternoon. We'll put it back on. You see where the highest fuel for these storms is just to our south, and this is all building up I-85 towards us. Now, another parameter I look at quite a bit is something called STP, or significant tornado parameter. Notice how this is starting to build across Georgia and South Carolina and even all the way up to the Charlotte area. This area in here is between a 1 and 2 on the scale from 1 to 5. Once you get to a 5, that's a very high threat for tornadoes. You see down here, it's in the 2 to 3 range where we have numerous warnings and new ones just issued down to the south. And if I loop this, you'll see how this is actually building back in our direction. I'll loop this real quickly here, and this will give you a good idea of just where this is heading. So we'll loop this a couple of times, and notice how this significant tornado parameter is actually building up towards the Charlotte area. So this is the concern as we go into the evening hours as the system kind of gets organized and actually amps up things a little bit better into the evening. When you take a look at some of these other things from the Storm Prediction Center, this is the severe weather risk today. Everything you see in that kind of mustard color is a slight risk, but the more concerning part is when you look at the tornado threat. The green area is a 2% risk of tornadoes. The yellow area is a 5%. Now that may seem really low, but by tornado standards, that's pretty significant, especially in November. The thing about these November setups is you don't need all of the heating and instability you would normally see, let's say, in the springtime, because in the wintertime you have such strong jet stream energy diving in across the lower 48 that it takes less instability. That lack of instability is made up by the fact that we have so much wind shear in the environment. In fact, if I turn on this analysis again, let me show you something interesting at the 500 millibar level, which is about 3,000 to 5,000 feet, and the jet stream level. These arrows are the jet stream. If you notice back here in parts of Arkansas, Mississippi, those pink colors, that's what we call a jet streak. That is punching in behind this system and actually will enhance the wind shear. If you look at the 500 millibar winds, notice the arrows coming out of the southwest. But let's go down to the surface where you and I are right now, and I'll put the arrows below that. I'll turn off the 500 millibar levels. Notice the south winds here. This is down at the surface. And then you turn on the 500 millibar winds. Notice how they're coming out of the southwest. So you see how the arrows change with direction. Down at the ground, the winds are coming out of the south, just off the surface by about 3,000 or 5,000 feet. The winds are coming from the southwest. So all these thunderstorms have to do this afternoon is get up to about 10 to 15,000 feet in height, and they will start to rotate. And that is the concern as we go into the evening hours. So be prepared. We will likely see a tornado watch issued for the Carolinas, including the Charlotte area, sometime around 4 or 5 o'clock this afternoon. It may go all the way till 10 or 11 o'clock tonight, and that threat will extend into eastern North Carolina, maybe even into the overnight hours. Of course, I'll keep you up to date on TV, online, on Facebook, and Twitter throughout the afternoon.